My father-in-law demanded I sign over my business at my wedding reception. When I refused, my wife's family had me thrown out. The next morning, they arrived at my office and froze when they saw who was sitting in the lobby. The champagne glasses were still clinking when Victor Ashford pulled me into the coat room and shoved a document against my chest. My hands were still trembling from the vows I had just exchanged with his daughter, Claire. He smiled like we were old friends. Sign this and we can go back to the party. It transfers 51% of your company to me. Consider it a wedding gift to the family. I looked at the papers, then at him. I told him I built that company from nothing. He laughed in my face. You built it with my daughter's connections. You owe us. I said no. His smile disappeared. He walked out of the coat room and whispered something to Claire's brother, Mitchell. Within 2 minutes, 2 security guards grabbed my arms and dragged me through the reception hall. My own wedding. 300 guests watched me get thrown out the front doors of the country club. Claire did not follow me. She stood next to her father, sipping champagne, watching me stumble onto the pavement. I drove to my apartment that night. Not our apartment, mine. The one I kept because something about Claire's family never sat right with me. I sat in the dark and replayed every red flag I had ignored for the past 2 years. The way Victor always asked about my contracts. The way Mitchell kept offering to help with my finances. The way Claire pushed me to add her name to everything. I had told myself it was love. It was not. My phone buzzed with a text from Claire. My father is giving you until tomorrow morning to sign. If you don't, we will take everything anyway. You have no idea who you married into. I screenshot that message and saved it to 3 different cloud accounts. Then I made some calls. By sunrise, I had talked to my lawyer, my accountant, and someone else. Someone Victor Ashford did not know existed. The next morning, I arrived at my office at 6 a.m. My assistant was already there, pale and nervous. She told me Victor, Mitchell, and 2 lawyers were on their way with papers to seize the company. Apparently, Claire had added her signature to documents I never authorized. They were claiming marital ownership of intellectual property. I told my assistant to let them in when they arrived, then offer them coffee. At 8:15 a.m., the elevator doors opened. Victor walked out first, flanked by Mitchell and 2 men in expensive suits carrying briefcases. They marched toward the reception desk like they owned the building. Then they stopped. Sitting in the lobby, reading a newspaper with his feet crossed, was my uncle Raymond. Raymond is not just my uncle. He is the managing partner at the largest corporate litigation firm on the East Coast. He also happens to be the man who represented 3 Fortune 500 companies against hostile takeovers. Victor went white. Raymond stood up slowly and extended his hand. Victor, I've heard so much about you. Victor did not shake it. Mitchell stepped forward and asked who this was. Raymond pulled a folder from his briefcase and handed it to Victor. Inside was every email, every text, and every forged document Claire had submitted to the state claiming partial ownership of my company. There was also a certified letter from a forensic accountant confirming the signatures were fabricated. Raymond smiled. We also have surveillance footage from your country club showing you physically threatening my nephew at his own wedding reception. He pulled out his phone and played the audio. It was crystal clear. Victor's voice. Sign this or I will destroy you. The lawyers Victor brought shifted uncomfortably. One of them started backing toward the elevator. Raymond looked at Victor and spoke calmly. Here is what happens now. You withdraw every claim. You annul the marriage on grounds of fraud, and you walk away before this becomes a criminal matter. Victor's face twisted. He lunged toward me, but Mitchell grabbed his arm. Dad, stop. It's over. Claire arrived 20 minutes later. She walked into the lobby expecting to see her father celebrating. Instead, she found him sitting on a bench with his head in his hands. She looked at me, then at Raymond, then at the papers spread across the reception desk. She asked what was happening. Raymond handed her a separate folder. Inside was a prenuptial agreement she had signed 3 months before our wedding, one that protected all my assets from marital claims. She had been so eager to get married that she signed it without reading. She actually thought it was a gift registry form. Her hands started shaking. She turned to me and screamed that I had tricked her. I told her I just protected what was mine. She threw the folder at my face and stormed toward the elevator. Her father and brother followed. None of them looked back. That afternoon, I filed for annulment. The forensic evidence of document forgery was enough to expedite the process. My lawyer also filed a civil suit against Victor Ashford for fraud, extortion, and attempted theft of intellectual property. His lawyers tried to settle 3 times in the first week. I declined every offer. The local business journal picked up the story. Victor's reputation collapsed within a month. His own partners forced him out of his investment firm. Mitchell got fired from his hedge fund job after clients pulled their money. Claire moved back in with her parents. She tried to contact me twice. I blocked her number both times. My company is still mine. Uncle Raymond still visits every Sunday for dinner. Last week, he brought me a bottle of scotch and a framed copy of Victor's resignation letter.